Hey there, and welcome back to Plays Well with Butter. I'm Jess Larson, and today we're gonna make crispy Parmesan chicken. These thin cut chicken cutlets are coated in an insanely crispy and cheesy panko Parmesan breading. Then they're pan fried until that crust is crispy and golden while the chicken stays totally juicy and tender. Now you can serve these up all on their own. They're basically like gourmet chicken nuggets. I mean, what's not to love about that? But this is also a really great recipe that you can use to slice and serve on a gorgeous salad, slather them in tomato sauce and cover them in cheese for chicken Parmesan, and really so much more. It's a great all-purpose recipe that you're gonna come back to time and time again. Now, a lot of the dishes I cook are inspired by my family or by my heritage or by my time working in an Italian restaurant, but this one is inspired by Noodles Company. In college, I was obsessed with Noodles Company mac and cheese. I mean, if you know, you know, but I'd always get it topped with their crispy Parmesan chicken. It's a meal I gladly would have eaten once a week if only my budget allowed, and that's exactly how this recipe came to be. When I think about it, this is probably the first recipe I ever really developed. So you know it's really easy, but it's also just like really delicious. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is pound out our chicken cutlets. Here I have 2 pounds of good old boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You want to look for chicken breasts that are on the thinner end of the spectrum. Otherwise, if your chicken breasts are really hearty and thick, you're going to want to use a knife to slice them in half lengthwise, which is also called butterflying them. But these look great, so I'm just going to pound them out into cutlets. First thing we'll do is just set a piece of plastic wrap over top, and I have a meat mallet here. You could also use a rolling pin if you don't have a meat mallet, but we're going to pound it out to about a 1/4 inch thickness. And that looks pretty good to me. The 1/4 inch thickness is really important here because it helps ensure that our breading gets perfectly crispy and golden, but the chicken also cooks through as we pan fry it. So I'm just gonna continue pounding these out until I've got 4 beautiful chicken cutlets. We've got our chicken cutlets all pounded out, and the next thing we're gonna do is create our dredging station. This is a pretty straightforward dredging station. We're gonna add a base layer of flour. All purpose is perfect. We're gonna have a wet layer of lightly whisked eggs. And then our final layer is going to be a crispy panko Parmesan layer. So I just put down panko breadcrumbs. These are Japanese style breadcrumbs. They're super coarse, as you can see, and they get really crispy when you fry them. So that is perfect. I have grated Parmigiano Reggiano. And I'm also gonna add in some Italian style seasoned breadcrumbs. These are a little bit more finely textured and they have those light spices, so you don't have to worry about pulling out any herbs or anything like that. And then the last step before we get to breading our chicken is you always want to season each layer with a little bit of salt. This helps ensure that all of the flavors from the dredge come through in our chicken, because aside from overcooked chicken, that's like the worst thing. That's the worst offense. So I will just give this a quick mix to mix that salt in. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab one of our beautiful chicken cutlets. We're gonna set it down in the flour to lightly dust. And something to keep in mind as you're working is keep one of your hands as a wet hand and leave one of your hands as a dry hand. This will help the breading from clumping up and sticking to your fingers, which is just a good way to be able to work a little bit more efficiently. So give it a light dusting, shake off any excess because that will just come off in the pan and burn before the chicken cooks through. Dip it into the egg. Again, get off all of the excess, let it drip back in, and then we'll finish it with the panko Parmesan. Use your dry hand to sprinkle the breading over top and give it a good pat so it really sticks to that chicken. And then the last thing we'll do is pick it up, shake off excess, set it down, and repeat. And as you get to the end here, you might have to get a little creative, rub it around to make sure it's fully coated. But this way we're not wasting extra ingredients that we're not going to use. Once all your cutlets are breaded in golden, crispy perfection, you can wash your hands and get ready to pan fry them. I have a pan that's been preheating a little bit, and we're just gonna add in a little bit of olive oil. You wanna make sure the olive oil gets really warm, and once it's really shimmery and it dances around the pan really nicely, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one of your chicken cutlets and you're going to gently place it right in, and you always want to set things down away from you rather than towards you. If you drop it back towards you, that oil might splash up and hit you, and that will burn. You don't want that. And then just give your pan a good shake so the oil comes into contact with all of the chicken, and we'll let this pan fry for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes per side. And give it a good little shake every so often as it cooks to make sure that oil gets all the way around that chicken and everything is really evenly browned. Give them a good flip, and again, remember to drop it away from you. And look at that, nice and golden brown. Beautiful, oh yeah. And give the pan a little bit of shake to make sure we have oil underneath to pan fry that second side just as beautifully. This will take another minute or two. These are looking good, so I'm just gonna transfer them to a little baking sheet that I have prepared here. If you have one that's fitted with a rack, that comes in really handy because it makes sure that that bottom side doesn't get soggy as it sits. And then the last thing I'll do is I have a little Maldon finishing salt, and we'll just sprinkle that over top so that hot oil absorbs some seasoning. And then we just repeat. All that's left to do at this point is slice and serve, and just like Noodles & Company, this is how I crave it, sliced into thick pieces, so juicy and so good. Beautiful. So I'm gonna transfer it to my plate here. The other nice thing about making this at home is you get a lot bigger piece than you do from Noodles & Company. Just saying. For some finishing touches, it's really pretty to sprinkle some fresh chives over top if you happen to have them on hand. If not, something like parsley works great. And I mean, more is more when it comes to cheese. So a little bit of grated Parmigiano and a little squeeze of lemon to kind of freshen up all of those flavors. And this is how I serve it at my house, just alongside a really simple arugula salad. Arugula is a beautiful green. It has a peppery bite that's really nice for something that is fried and delicious. Drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil over top. I have some Parmesan shavings in there, as well as lots of lemon juice. Simple, simple, simple. And that's it. You can dive on in. I mean, it's basically a chicken nugget, which is finger food, but listen to this crunch. Because we seasoned all of those layers of breading, it is insanely flavorful. The chicken is still juicy and tender, and that Parmesan panko coating is so crispy. So good, and it's honestly just like a great all-purpose chicken cutlet recipe to keep on hand. I would slice these into like croutons and serve them on a Caesar salad. You could serve them over a simple pasta dish or risotto. You could also use it to make chicken parmesan, and it is also great for entertaining because everyone is obsessed with these. Seriously, they're so good. Head over to Place Well with Butter to grab the full recipe. Give it a try soon, share it with people you love, and be sure to like and subscribe for more unfussy recipes that pack a big punch of flavor and crunch. We'll see you next time.